Gavin Newsom.
What up? Are we live?
We're live.
Yo, what it is? Gavin Newsom.
What did it do?
Holy shit.
What'd it be like?
Econoboy, you look very different today.
He looks smaller, doesn't he? More petite.
I switched out all math knowledge for weights, and so now I know nothing about the economy and everything about lifting.
He does math. He does math, but it's in 45 increments.
Yep.
For the plates. Yeah.
You've replaced your flags with Pickle Rick.
Well, that's the one nation I truly support.
Is that a Rick and Morty thing?
It is, but it's
It
ironic
is.
because it's my least favorite episode.
Oh.
You don't like Rick and Morty? I'm sorry, Pickle Rick?
I hate Pickle Rick. I hate him with a passion. That was the worst episode of Rick and Morty until maybe one of the later seasons, I'm sure.
Oh. Well, yeah. I love Pickle Rick. That's just me, though.
I'll be honest with you. I've seen exactly one episode
Going to work out
of Rick and Morty. So I was living in Kentucky at the time, and a bunch of us had just finished a pub crawl, and it was like 3 a.m, and we were back at my buddy's house, and it was like 10 of us, and he's like, "Bro, you guys watch Rick and Morty?" And like 5 of us had, but the rest did not. And so he fired it up, and I was like, "This is the dumbest shit." But I also didn't like Futurama. I don't like The Simpsons. I did like Family Guy. I did like American Dad. I've stopped watching both of those because I just got bored with them. I did like Archer, but yeah, I never got into Rick and Morty.
Is this a thing where like you get with a girl and you want to get all your red flags out on the table to make sure there are no deal breakers? So you're just telling me all your worst media takes right away.
You're locked in now, buddy. You signed a contract. It's written in blood, and if you violate the terms, I'm going to send my boy Hutch, my enforcer, to come down there and kick you right in the shin so hard.
Who did confirm he's as large as me with his shirt off?
Larger.
So
larger. See, that's the thing. He was actually underselling it so as to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
well, it worked.
Hold up. How old are you, by the way? Did you say you were like 25 or 24 or something like that?
29.
Okay.
I was going to say your apartment setup is like definitely like 22, 21 vibes.
No, listen.
Wait, you mean a dresser?
You mean his
that, like,
dorm room?
covers
You're not
half
talking
of my closet.
Generous of you to assume apartment. He's obviously in a dorm room. Okay.
You have a dresser that is seemingly blocking one entire side of your closet.
Well,
and
you see, because I don't own enough clothes to need to get into there, but also it has all my stuff on it, like my YouTube play button and my trinkets. So how could I show that off?
Silver play button?
Yeah, it's a silver play button.
You know, I never actually got mine. That pisses me off. So like when I first hit 100K, you have to fill out like a form or something like that. I don't know if it's changed, but you have to like notify YouTube like, hey, I need my silver play button, and like they said everything was like back ordered, and I just never end up getting it. So I need to reach out or maybe steal. Is it monogrammed or something? Can I take yours?
Yeah. No, it has my name on it. I'm upset because I was like, well, it would be boring if it was just the soy pill. So I ordered it in Dutch, but none of the words on it are in Dutch. They just gave me a letter that said congratulations, and that's in Dutch. So they just hit Google Translate. The laser engraving machine doesn't do Dutch, I guess. So.
That's so lame. Wait a second. Are we hazing the soy pill? Is that what we're doing right now?
I was just making an observation. Like you definitely
dresser?
look like a 19-year-old's room in there, but I'm not judging.
Look, I have this. Pill? I have a. No, I'm not. But I do have the philosophy that until I find my forever home, I don't decorate because I don't want to make it feel like a place that I like and then leave.
That's boy logic. That is boy logic.
It is. So I barely have any decoration, so I can just get out of here right away as soon as I find my forever place. So we'll see what happens.
Well, why don't we make it official and introduce you as the official Econoboy replacer? So welcome.
Can I just be the fourth? I don't like being called the Econoboy replacer because that's such a lot to live up to. Because he's such a smart guy.
He's dead to us.
You're Econo holder at the moment. You're the placeholder for Econoboy. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah, no. Listen, it was unanimous. Like we had a short list, and it was a good short list. But everybody agreed that you were the top of the list, and so yeah,
it was between you, Hassan, and Destiny, and
yeah.
And they both said no or didn't respond. So you're like, well, unanimously, we have to pick the only.
They actually recommended you too, quite frankly.
Oh, wow, really?
Then we actually bounced the suggestion to the boys at the Vanguard. They were like 10 out of 10.
And they said Biden could have done more.
That's right.
I'm still down for that, by the way, to make him a permanent co-host situation. But you guys didn't like that.
Zach and Gat. Wait, who you talking about the soy pill?
No. Zach and Gavin.
Oh yeah. Well,
made
listen,
couldn't afford them. We couldn't afford them.
Once we start franchising out, once we have right now, we have our main show. Hutch,
The B squad we need. Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Hutch, but in all seriousness, I've got a vision, if I can just find the time, for a separate stream that's actually apolitical and it's just about soy pill. What the fuck, bro?
Wait, did I leak? Hold on.
You did.
Holy crap.
This is amateur
This is not a
shit,
good
man.
look.
Come on.
Not a good look,
okay.
Soy
I
Pill.
was changing-
Econo Boy didn't have to do this.
We
I
never
changed
had
my
problems
title,
with
and it changed to the wrong thing.
I
I don't like
There
new
we go.
people. I don't like new people. I don't know what to say.
No. Listen, tech
be.
issues. You're right at home. This is the live and learn environment. If you don't run into major tech issues, you're really not even part of the crew.
It took Pisco a full
Yes,
3
yeah.
months to get his mic situation sorted.
This is correct.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know.
All
Yeah.
I did was I tried to add that little blue title that Hutch had, and it just switched my camera. I don't know what to say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lead liberal, weakest liberal. Only
Now-
physically. I think mentally you're a giant. But what I was saying with Hutch is like, Hutch, I've got a vision that I need to get with you about because I've got like 2 other people in mind where we do a pop culture related stream if we've got the time. I've got like, 2 other politics buffs who also do a bunch of pop culture stuff as well. I'm like, damn, what really triggered it was I was on Pisco's stream a couple of weeks ago, and we were like getting into the nitty gritty about whether or not Mace Windu legitimately defeated Darth Sidious in single combat
stupid.
in
That's
Episode 3,
pop
Revenge
culture,
of the Sith.
guys, that's pop culture. My
That is
pop
pop
culture
culture.
podcast that I want to do because I had a fucking nerd disagreement on Mace Windu.
What's wrong with that? I mean, 1 and 1 make 2. I mean, it seems perfectly
That's
natural.
not a pop culture podcast. It's like a nerd podcast. I don't
What
know
are you
why
talking?
you got.
What? Who talks
Wait,
about
what is-
pop
what
culture
is
other
pop
than
culture?
nerds? Yeah, really.
What is pop
Geeks.
culture?
No. Nerds are smart. Geeks are pop culture, but they're not smart. So you could be a Star Wars nerd, but an idiot. But a geek that's what a geek is. A nerd would be someone who can actually do the math behind like the Star Trek sci-fi. There's a very clear distinction.
Well, I got to say, I'm more of a Warzy than a Trekkie, but one of the guys I'm thinking of as a co-host is a Trekkie. But anyway, so we'll have to talk about that. But yeah, welcome the soy pill, the unanimous decision of the remaining Live and Learners. First things first.
I mean, I was a holdout for a little bit, but I got there in the end. You guys made a convincing argument.
It is
Yeah.
true. Like Hutch was, I got to say, like Hutch did come around, but like initially he was like, I don't know about that guy. I think it was he's
propeller
used to
hat. It
being
was
the buff
propeller
one.
hat.
Well, he's used to
Well-
being the buff one of the group, and he doesn't want the competition.
There's that. Well, I mean, we needed some more sex appeal, like honestly. So
Wow.
it felt like a natural decision to make.
Well,
yeah.
fuck the other co-hosts. Well, come on. I mean, what do you just they weren't sexy enough for the
No, I
podcast.
mean,
Well, let's be honest. You're far more attractive than Econo Boy. Let's just call a spade a spade.
I
here.
wouldn't say that.
Whoa.
All right. First of all, I'm not
Holy
married.
shit.
we got that. Well, we actually got that from
He
Akana
tricked a
Boy's
girl
wife.
into marrying him. So
Akana wife
done
actually
that.
was the one who let us know that.
Wait, when?
You know, she's a soy pill fan.
Oh shit! You guys are doing a bit. I thought.
Yeah, no.
I thought
So,
I thought
by the way,
she
Pisco
actually
just
said
woke
that.
up from a fucking nap.
Hey,
by the
chill
way,
on that. Chill on that.
I feel like
chill
I'm
on
being
that.
like blackmailed. Like, all right, you're on the show now. Disparage our former co-host. Say that his wife wants you. Like right now, we got to get it on camera live.
He has no recourse. He has no internet presence.
He
anymore.
abandoned
He can just
us.
Go the fuck off, and he can't
What's he
do
gonna
shit
do?
about it. Yeah.
oh
that's
shit, he's
exactly the
texting
point.
me right now. No, I'm kidding.
He's
You know what?
Texting you?
This is a perfect week for you to kick off as a replacement Econo Boy co-host because the last time you were on here, you were talking about how Democrats need to go dark woke, and it seems like Gavin Newsom, like his team, are like actually doing it. Like it's not quite like the R word, but
They're
I
working
think
up to it.
It wouldn't shock me at this point if we saw that in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
No, we're getting well. So I was gonna say something that surprised me though was like I didn't even think even the most dark woke Gavin thing would do this, but he called Scott Pressler Nancy Mace, which I don't know if you
Yes.
want to argue that's like transphobic or it's like some sort of weird gender politicking. And then when he got called out by what was it, Tommy Lauren, they replied, "You sound woke."
Yeah.
So like they're willing to go there.
Right here.
He told someone to go back to Grinder, like that one
Yeah,
white
yeah,
rapper
yes.
guy. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so,
so-
I
so
just put
let-
it in the chat.
so
He
let's
called
talk about-
someone gay.
So wait a minute.
Put it in
You
the
talking about
chat,
the
watch.
Grinder one?
Yeah. So
I'll bring
there's
that
this
up.
rapper.
I'll bring that up in just a second.
You should put that rapper's. You should actually play that rap at some point. But yeah,
It's good. It's good. It's a good song.
Well, let's talk about the Gavin Newsom press office, and let's start with the Nancy Mace thing. So what's interesting is you mentioned Tommy Lauren, and what's hilarious is if you check Tommy's mentions, she's been going after Newsom and this account like nonstop for the past like 72 hours. She's been swinging, and she took a swing last night about Newsom, young Newsom versus young Don Jr. And she fucked up in her zeal. She misread it and thought it was referring to Donald Trump. And she was like, well, one of these people has been president twice and the other will never be president. And so everybody clowned on her like, you fucking dumbass. That's Don Jr., you idiot. And she ended up like deleting her post in shame, which is very rare for Tommy Lauren, who says all sorts of cringe, ridiculous things. But it was so humiliating, and she got ratioed so badly that she deleted the post. And then today she takes another stab at it with the pearl clutching about Scott Presler. And I don't think it's like transphobic or even necessarily homophobic. I think it's just Presler has long hair.
It's definitely not woke.
Oh,
like,
agreed.
He's a gay man, so like you could draw some like non-woke inference from that if you really wanted to.
Sure. But I think I guess what I'm saying is I feel like they're walking that line enough. Like they did the Abbott thing. You know, about did you guys see that about the Greg Abbott?
No,
Look,
what did they?
Oh my God!
Let
me pull it up. Let me pull it up. While I do so,
it was like he rolled into that blunder or something.
No,
like that?
No, not quite. But hang on one second.
Tell me they didn't go full Jasmine Crockett with it.
I mean, you know, honestly, not okay. Here it is. Here, I can't wait for you guys to see this shit. All right, let's switch it over here. Greg Abbott. Can you all see this screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes.
brace yourselves.
Congressman Greg Abbott, who is in a wheelchair, and Newsom says he rolled over for Trump. That's almost as bad as Jasmine Crockett calling him Governor Hot Wheels. You know, we asked for a statement, and Newsom's office said something flippant like, you know, oh, you're so woke. He'll get over it. Abbott will get over it. Your response.
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Based.
Wow.
Love it. Love it.
Based.
Love it. 100% love it.
Yeah. This is what I was waiting for. How many months ago was I on? I guess it took them that long, but maybe they were watching Lib Learn.
So make a gay joke right now then.
Make a gay joke?
Yeah.
See, the
Woke.
problem is not that I don't want to
Yeah.
make a gay joke, because I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's not like you, Pisco. He doesn't find homosexuality hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
I didn't say that.
For whatever reason,
It's
it
not
is.
inherently.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, this is generating a lot of publicity, a lot of attention. That account is growing like just absurdly fast at a high rate. And more importantly, it's triggering the fuck out of, yes, Tommy Lauren and Fox News hosts on air and so many others. And what do you guys think about it? Because, no. Before you answer that question, to cap that off, you have to see this. This is Fox complaining about it today. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Just the hypocrisy is truly breathtaking. Okay, here it is. I'll share the screen. Nope, that's not it.
Same exact thing.
Replace the screen. Here we go. Here we go.
The other thing is, or the debate, the other thing for me is that for the last week, Gavin Newsom, and why am I giving him advice? You have to stop it with the Twitter thing. I don't know where his wife is. If I were his wife, I would say, "What? You are making a fool of yourself. Stop it. Do not let your staff tweet. And if you're doing it yourself, put the phone away and start over. And if he's got a big job as governor of California, but if he wants an even bigger job, he has to be a little bit more serious."
What?
It is pretty brilliant, like what they're doing, because I feel like they're doing what Destiny does, but just like not completely deranged, where you sort of bait out the insane hypocrisy in the replies and then call it out. Like that's what they're doing for every single one of these posts, and it's sort of a foolproof like plan. Like you can basically guarantee that people are going to be complete fucking hypocrites in the replies.
Yeah, they have no leg to stand on. It's like, okay, you've been doing this for
Wait, is that
10
an Abbott
years.
joke?
Oh. Well, he has legs to stand on. He just
He
can't.
does have
stand.
legs. They just don't work.
But yeah, no, it's like there's been hypocrisy from, obviously, like for every Trump call out, you can get some projection tweet from, like, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But the difference with this is, okay, we're going to do the exact same rhetoric, the exact same style, the exact same bullshit, flamboyant stupidness. And you can't get mad at it because this is what you've been supporting for now 10 years. I think this is genius. This is perfect. Like, this is the, it's like I've seen those people are like, oh, I get it now. I get why people are getting behind Trump, because it's like, oh, you are expressing authentically the frustration that everyone is feeling without crossing a line into like, oh, you're genuinely going to piss off people on your own side. It's just like the encapsulation of all of our rage. And, I guess this is triggering the libs, but for our side.
Well, aren't you worried that it's going to push away people like Talibots?
Push it away. Yes, actually.
Let's be honest. I feel like that is the thing that the soy pill considers most frequently. When he examines a politician, that is the metric. He's like, is this going to drive away Talibots?
The median,
what do you think? Will it?
Voter. I sneezed once and I was 45 degrees in the wrong direction, and she's decided not to vote Democrat. So I think it's too late.
It's too late for
Dude,
these people.
well,
I wonder what
well,
Wick says, though. I do wonder what Wick says. Do you think he's going to be like, you really
Wick's on
shouldn't
board
be
with this.
doing that? Wait,
Is
really?
he?
No, I think Wick's on board with this.
Is he?
No, is he pearl clutching?
I thought I saw something about it. Speaking of Wick, I'm going to show you, and Pisco's really going to have to restrain himself because Wick squared off with Ryan.
Malali?
Yeah, and that was really interesting. I'll show you that in a second. But I did see something from Wick about Newsom, and I think he obviously is not personally offended. He's just worried that it will drive people away. Let me find that real quick because I don't want to misrepresent.
Drive who away? like
Good question.
who was
Really
waiting
good
on the
question.
line, and then they read these tweets and they're like, well, after, you know what? Now it's
What
gotten a
happened
little
to
too far.
civility?
It's also
gonna
like,
vote-
I would say what makes this different from Jasmine Crockett is that I think she was just being an edgelord. I think that team, they're 100% focused on baiting Republicans with that account. Like, I definitely think it's a conscious thing that they're doing.
I'm going to find it. Fuck, I'm going to find it.
I found it. I think I know what
You
you're
did?
talking about.
You did?
Is this it? This is crazy. Whoa, this is crazy. People who follow us are the only people who probably care about this, but because no one knows who the fuck Brian.
Oh,
Mulroney
no,
is
no,
in the
no.
press.
I was going to find the Newsom thing first, but yes, since you said no, that's fine. Because I was so proud of him, and I had to bite my tongue I'm trying to like not get one guy all the time. So the soy pill, are you familiar with Ryan McNally or Ryan Mullally?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I've seen him on the show a few times.
So what's interesting, though, because we're talking about rhetoric, right? And he points out, Trump, which we're going to talk about in greater length, but Trump says he's going to sign an executive order to basically start the process of eliminating both voting machines and mail-in voting. Again, we'll get to the actual substance of that a little later, but since we mentioned Wick, Wick tagged Ryan and said, you had a lot to say how an opinion piece in the New York Times talking about wanting to abolish the Electoral College was unacceptable and dangerous as it threatened the sovereignty of states. As I understand it, state sovereignty is something you care a lot about. I would draw your attention to Trump's comments today about how he wishes to upend state sovereignty through executive order to
It's
dictate.
written pretty well here.
Yeah.
This is written pretty well.
Did you workshop it with him?
Yeah, I gave him the tweet. I gave him everything.
And then he says,
I
this
love
is not
him.
a New York Times opinion piece from some no name. This is the president of the United States threatening this. I think you should place your worry and ire accordingly. And I will be happy. I'm happy to report that Ryan conceded
accepted
this.
that. Yes,
He
of
accepted
course.
it and said, you know what? We should absolutely prioritize the words of the sitting president over random powerless people. And he turned a new leaf. And that was the end of it. Of course, that wasn't it.
Oh, no.
We got about actuallys and actuallys from Ryan.
This tweet is the problem. This is the problem. Not anything else, but Wick's tweet. That's the problem.
We lost Hutch just at a moment because he says it's all robot voices. Yeah, so Hutch will come back in just a second. Let's see. Let me see if I can get him up here.
I like that.
What
Nick
about now,
guy.
buddy? Can you hear us now?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hutch.
Hutch. Hutch is my boy. Hutch is my boy.
There it is. Okay.
Hutch
Gotcha.
is my
What about
boy.
now?
You there?
good?
Yeah, it was. I don't know why it's breaking up for me, but yeah.
Oh, Wick confirmed he is pro Dark Newsom, not necessarily as a candidate for 2028, but he does like the dark posting. So
Good.
Oh, shit.
That's good. That's
amazing.
good. I could have swore I saw a post from him saying that like he likes it, but that he thinks it's going to drive people away.
well, maybe.
Yeah. So, well, no. I mean, listen. If he clarified, he clarified. I'm cool with that. But the what was after all this back and forth with Wick, I responded because he said, "This is my favorite part." He goes, "You're the furthest right Democrat I regularly converse with, and the only one who's taken a principled rather than partisan stance on any of the issues we mutually care about.
Oh my
I would love
God.
to believe you. Basically, I would love to believe you, Wick, that you are the representative of the Democratic Party, but I'm just not seeing it." And here's my favorite part. As usual, though, if Trump actually oversteps, not just talks about it, I'll show up. Okay. To which I responded, not just talks about it. I'm like resisting the urge. And he's like, did the EO drop or did I miss it? Or are you just proving my point? And I'm like, I'm not taking the bait. I'm just clarifying. You're up in arms about when a leftist rando just talks about things, but not when the most powerful person in the world just talks about things. And it's just stunning. I don't understand these people.
Josiah, also, this is post, let's all remind ourselves, 5 years after the sitting president tried to like subvert the democratic process and steal an election. So it's like any like lawyer who is still defending this and like sees a person talking about like you posted earlier, like, oh, he just joked. He's just floating the idea of suspending elections during a war in 3 years. And it's like, this motherfucker tried to do it. Like, he tried to do this already. This isn't a joke. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, anything is on the table. So the fact that you're like, well, maybe, it's like, no, this is, you have no credibility in my book past that point.
I looked it up though, and it's in the Ukrainian constitution that it calls for the elections to be suspended if
Right.
there's martial law, but not in the United States. So you
Yeah,
can-
there's no. I mean, Pisco, you can talk about this. We even had an
Wow.
election during the Civil War. But I mean, in terms of there being no formal constitutional provisions, and we have originalist justices, right? So obviously, since there's no election suspension clause in the Constitution, we need not fear, right?
Yeah, at the time, Lincoln was actually very not super optimistic about his prospects of winning re-election in that context. And it wasn't really until General, oh my God, what's his name? William Tecumseh Sherman actually broke through in the South in his march to the sea. Oh my God. I used to have this fucking history memorized. Soypil, don't look at me.
Yes,
Don't look at me.
Shermer.
Anyway, but yeah, no, we don't have a fucking election suspension clause. Although no elections did occur, or at least they weren't binding in the different states who were in rebellion. So maybe you could say there was a suspension of elections. What do you say about that, sir?
Listen, I mean, my point was even if there's no like formal suspension clause, I think we should absolutely be concerned about it because, and I laid out the reasons in a short video on Twitter, but you know, he has control of the military, domestic law enforcement agencies. His party controls both, obviously both chambers of Congress, and they control the body that decides what is or isn't constitutional in the first place. And I just don't, to Soypil's point, he's tried this shit before. He's tried unlawful means to remain in power, unlike anything we've ever seen before. And this was the thing that kind of set it off. So, you know, earlier this morning, he issues this like unhinged screed on Truth Social saying, okay, again, we're going to sign this executive order, get rid of mail-in voting and voting machines. And because Vladimir Putin told him to, like, that's the other crazy thing. You know, Vladimir Putin says that we should get rid of mail-in ballots. I won the 2020 election. And then it led to this in the Oval Office.
Upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances. And a little bit, we need to work in the parliament because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal legal elections.
So you say
we're ready.
during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what.
So fucking I hate this guy.
Yeah, like out of context, it's clear he is making a joke, like the intention, but it's like it doesn't matter what his intention is at this point, given everything he's done. Like if this was like before he was president and he's making a point that Zelensky should hold elections, I might be like, oh, okay, because that's what like even I back in 2015 was doing the plausible deniability thing for Trump because I'm like, oh, he's a TV host, blah blah blah. We've got 10 years of evidence now that this man is absolutely floating the idea of violating the 22nd Amendment. So I don't know. This is
Ryan Mullally will be in line to be like shot for some fucking thought crime and some shit. And he's like, well, they haven't shot me yet. Like, until they call me when they fucking shoot me in the head. But like, that is what we would have to have before he would criticize the administration.
He'd be like, there's no DEI in the shooting process.
Yeah.
So
I think what's super like much more likely is he'll like Vance will run and then he'll run as VP or something. Can he do that actually? Is that I feel like that was disputed. Can he be the VP after this or no?
no.
not like a plain
I
reading.
think he can.
You what?
I think he can.
You think he can?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So because other provisions of the Constitution, this is a hot take, but my liberal surrender hands up. But the Constitution makes a distinction between being elected to office and being eligible to the office. And so in the 22nd Amendment, it says elected, no person shall be elected president, whatever, 3 times or whatever. That, to me, is a distinction between being eligible to the office. And for that reason, I think that he could be eligible to the office of president and therefore eligible to the office of vice president. He just can't get elected there.
What
I'm
would
not
be the
only one who thinks
constitutional
that.
path to you? Like workshop
Yeah,
it for
he-
me or work it out?
He runs as vice president because he's not ineligible to the office of presidency. He's only unable to be elected to the office of president. He just runs for vice president. There's under the 12th Amendment, there's separate elections for president and vice president, and so he just runs for vice president. Yeah.
Yeah, 22nd, just to confirm, I brought up this BBC article. It says the 22nd Amendment only explicitly bans someone being elected to more than 2 presidential terms and says nothing of secession. And under this theory, Trump could be the vice presidential running mate to another candidate, perhaps his own vice president, J.D. Vance, in 2028, which I guess technically, is not. I mean,
think it
obviously the
works.
intention is that they're not supposed to be president.
You're
No,
envisioning
they
a
use it, but-
Putin-Medvedev situation, basically, where they swap
I think
positions.
it could work. Yeah. And listen, I would be against it. I would say, like, if there's some strong legal argument, but in just terms of textualism and originalism, they use that word purposely. I think that there actually is some legislative history that they were envisioning potential scenarios where, like, there's some kind of decapitation attack, or and we need to bring in an old president to do the job from Congress and to like raise him to be the speaker or raise him to be something, right, and give him to assume the office. And so, if they wanted to make it a qualification for the office, just like in the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment or the other qualifications which talk about the eligibility for office, then they would have said it, but they didn't.
So under that theory, then you're talking about bringing back old presidents. Joe Biden's time could come again.
Well, he only had one term. He only had one term.
I know he could do, but we both know he wouldn't get fucking elected. What I'm saying is, that they could bring him
He's
back.
getting chemo and Josiah's like, bring him back, bring him
They
back.
could pull him off the bench, right? They could pull.
Wick is speaking of Wick, he's a Biden truther. He thinks that Biden would have won. What do you think?
Hutch, what do you think, buddy? What do you think?
I mean, if Biden ran, it would have been like, are we going to win Virginia and Minnesota? Like, it would have been that bad. So
I think the expression changes when it's Biden. When Biden shuffled, if Biden shuffled, could we have won those states? I don't know.
Going back to the other thing with Trump, though, like, did everyone forget that he actually tried to do a executive order already to alter mail-in ballots and stuff, and the courts blocked him? So, I mean, good luck. Yeah.
He doesn't have the legal authority to do it. They're like, everyone's correct about it. The elections clause of the Constitution gives that authority to the state legislatures. And it's so funny. I mentioned this on my stream. Just like a year ago, all the conservatives saying, you have to give it to the independent state legislature theory. It's the most important thing. And now the second that Trump tries to claim some executive control over how states run their congressional elections, they're going to fall in line. But that said, states as an initial matter have that authority to regulate the time, place, and manner of elections for Congress, and only Congress has an authority afterwards to undo that with legislation. So the president has no self-standing authority.
Let me ask you
I
guys.
feel like the best he could do is just pressure like red states to pass their own shit. How would that impact the presidential election? Because like in 2020, there's a strong argument that him being so opposed to mail-in ballots could have literally cost him the election. But if it's only red states that are doing like ban on mail-in ballots, or I think what Trump tried to do with the EO is have mail-in ballots are only counted like up to the day of the election, and anything that's received after wouldn't be counted. Or
There's
something like
probably
that.
less authority, Hutch, to be honest, in terms of a presidential election, because that's a separate clause of the Constitution called the Presidential Electors Clause, and states have even more authority to assign their electors in certain ways. But Congress does have some residual authority to regulate there, and I imagine anything that he tries with Congress, he might try with President. That said, it's just like he doesn't have the authority.
Well, it'd also be interesting to map.
He would also need 60 votes because this is not something you could pass with reconciliation. So
Or they'd have to do some sort. They could do, in theory, I suppose, a carve out, an exception for the filibuster.
They won't do that.
Listen, I am always like Wicks. We used to say this too about making that they wouldn't fuck with the filibuster, but they did fuck with the filibuster under Trump's first term
for the judges. I mean,
no, but it counts. That's why I really don't think with this group you can dismiss it out of hand. And I would argue they didn't do a quote unquote exemption. They just liberally reinterpreted how the 60 vote rule applied for this last budget thingy. For this last budget reconciliation bill.
The tax breaks were like existing policy or something.
Yeah.
Like
so I just really don't think. I don't think you can rule.
The only thing
rule it out.
Thune, I think, is on the record talking about the importance of the filibuster. So I don't know if he's gonna. Yeah, it's possible, but
Republicans talk a lot about many things that are important, which they're willing to define.
If the House that was in charge of it, that'd be one thing. But like, there are more grown-ups in the Senate, and there's a lot of people that want to keep that filibuster. So.
Well, but the thing again, if you make an exception, it's not like you have to abolish the filibuster wholesale. You could just make another exemption. Of course, that would make it more likely that if and when Democrats get back in power, they would be more inclined to do it, assuming they had the vote. So, I mean, I would caution everybody, especially chat, don't automatically rule it out. But my question is two things. Actually, something you brought up, Hutch, which is about what it would look like. And I'm curious because I haven't gone back and looked at the map. But given that we still elect presidents via the Electoral College, if simply red states followed suit and abolished or restricted mail-in ballots, the states that would follow that directive, would they be states that Democrats were going to lose anyway? Or would they also constitute some swing states that Democrats won? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't it depend on who the legislature is
right
by and the governor?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's what I would want to know.
Trouble because maybe like Florida could do something. The other red states probably don't matter for purposes of individuals in like blue states or people with ambitions for to get Democrats elected. But Arizona has a Democratic governor. Wisconsin has a Democratic governor.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has a Democratic governor. So some of the major. Let me think.
North Carolina, my state,
North Carolina, Democratic governor.
We have it, but we are one seat away from a filibuster-proof supermajority. Yeah, so like it's like that's on the needle. But the second thing I was going to say, Pisco, about this, what you're talking about, a potentially constitutional loophole, would that allow President Obama to run as somebody's VP against VP Trump? Yeah. Okay, then I'm curious, my co-hosts, VP Trump versus VP Obama in 2028, who would you bet on?
Obama would
Obama.
fucking smoke Donald Trump. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, Obama, like, somehow his existence cuts through Trump's, like, Teflon, like, you can't shake me, ego. That was, like, the reason he had that whole, I guess, run was because Obama insulted him at that presidential dinner, right? Yeah, the correspondence dinner.
Are we doing those anymore, by the way? Doesn't seem like we're doing those.
No, but I unironically think he would cut, like, his natural charisma and then decorum, I think, cuts through the Trumpisms, in my opinion.
He's been the most popular Democrat for fucking like 15 years. So like he still has approval rating of like 60%. So he is kind of defying political gravity these days.
Well, I'm going to throw some wrinkles into this hypothetical, see if it changes your answer. Literally wrinkles. What if Biden's the top of the ticket again? What if it's 2028 Hunter Obama? Biden. So what if it's Biden Obama versus Vance Trump? Who wins that race?
We need the prince that was promised. We need Hunter.
Didn't he talk about running for office? Like, did he not rule it out or something like that
On
in the
Channel
interview
5?
that he did with Channel 5? Yeah.
I thought it was Beau Biden who was the one who was like, being prepped for like high office.
I thought he's
I don't
dead.
know. Yeah.
He's dead, though.
Well, he's dead now. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he's running for 2028.
I was like,
maybe yeah.
Josiah, one major hold up on that one.
He's
buddy.
probably got more energy than his father at the moment. But yeah, he was the one. I think he was the Attorney General of Delaware.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was gonna make a run for governor, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Where does the Constitution say that you can't nominate a dead guy? Like, they're going to probably try. Like, if Trump dies.
There's nothing in the 22nd Amendment that says a dog can't be president.
True. I mean, like.
What do they call it? Airbud rules or something like that?
This is what
White House blood.
This Supreme Court has allowed for in their Anderson decision. When you basically say that states can't enforce these kinds of presidential regulations, then what? Like, if someone who's under 35 tries to run for office, they can't exclude them from the ballot. If someone who's a dog who tries to run for office, like if they try to nominate a table, they could try. Or you're saying that states don't have the authority in their state elections to try? That's why the Anderson decision, among other reasons, was such a horrible opinion.
So fucking dumb. Because didn't you say, doesn't that have implications for if there's any like factual dispute over age or anything like that too? Yeah, all the other requirements.
Why not? I mean, there was the whole natural born citizen thing about Obama. Do you not think that if today Trump pressured them, that he could get at least 10 to 15 states to say Obama wasn't born here, let's take him off the ballot? If he wanted it, he could get 10 to 15 states to do that.
Sure.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Going back to the Newsom stuff, though, do you
Sure.
guys think that he's just gonna ride that fucking train all the way through the primaries, or do you think he's gonna
He needs to
clean
pace
it up,
himself.
clean it up a bit when he gets to the primaries?
He needs to pace himself. He can't just become a living meme. He needs to. I think he's doing great right now, but I think that he should cut it back maybe 12 to 20%.
I'm black-pilled on this. I don't know. This is my pessimism. I think in a month we're going to forget this happened. We're going to look back and be like, hey, remember that time where they had the right idea for about a week? And then what the fuck happened? Like, there's going to be some completely new thing a month from now, and it's just going to be completely forgotten. Newsom's going to have some big scandal, and he's going to have to like fall back into decorum to be like, oops, sorry about that time I cheated on my wife or whatever, or like, it's gone. I that's my black pill.
Wait, did he cheat on his wife?
He
don't
did
know.
back in the day, yeah. I don't know. Did he cheat on his wife, or I think he fucked his campaign manager's wife like 20 years ago?
Right,
and there's a
or something like that,
press conference he did apologizing it. He's just got to he's just got to be careful not to like run the meme into the ground. Like the all cap stuff, I think is still funny maybe for the next like week, but if he's still doing it a month from
It'll
now,
wear
people,
thin.
yeah, for sure.
Well, here's
so
the thing: it relies on the Republicans reacting to it, and it's the same with Trump. The reason Trump's been so successful is one, because people like the way that he channels their rage at the Democrats and the establishment, but right now, Newsom is, as you said, triggering the right wing. And once they figure out, we just have a way to not deal with this, either by ignoring it or by just, countering it back so they don't look so upset about it, the energy's going to fall. It relies on that audience of triggeredness.
I do think it's important. I do take your point. I agree that I don't think this will last forever, and I don't think that they have a way to really permanentize it at all, because like if you look at even the Epstein situation, right? So that was obviously, in terms of national headlines, that was the most penetrative scandal that Trump has had in the second term. And it's been a couple of weeks and people aren't talking about it nearly as much, mostly because there has been no major development. Now, my understanding is, speaking of Epstein, that today was the deadline that the DOJ was supposed to surrender the so-called Epstein files to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee, because Democrats were able to secure enough votes from the other side to issue a subpoena. And DOJ gave Comer the finger and said, you'll get it Friday. And I don't know, imagine what they'll get on Friday. But yeah, I think that this is we are in an environment, that's what makes Trump so dangerous this time around, even compared to the first time, is that our attention spans are so short, and the media and the public still have not found that sweet spot, Goldilocks way of, tracking all his scandals, that he can just appeal to our shitty attention span. I mean, like the one, I did a video about it, and I was actually frustrated. It was the first time in a long time that I did a video, and when it didn't do well, I was pissed, because I'm like, this is a big fucking deal. The fact that the New Yorker did this investigative report, and they've estimated that Trump has made $3.4 billion off the presidency, and they're not counting like extant businesses he had prior to the presidency that have nothing to do with it. And it's like, that's a big fucking deal. I mean, they interview ethics experts and they do a forensic audit of all the like the crypto and the World Liberty Financial.
This shit does not faze me anymore. It just doesn't faze me anymore.
Yeah.
Like the fact that stuff doesn't pick up steam and doesn't remain salient for, you know, more than a day or two or even like 30 minutes. I'm just so used to it by now. I guess I'm black-pilled too. Like I'm just completely used to Trump at this point.
That's a problem. Like, no, and I even say that in that video and other videos that in a way, our desensitization is also part of the problem because we're the ones in the resistance, right? And if we don't give a fuck,
we
have to force ourselves to, yeah.
Well, that's why I think Newsom's strategy is so good, is because I think part of the strategy is sort of jolting people out of that, I don't know, stasis, like out of that complacence. Like he reminds people like, oh yeah, it is fucking crazy that he tweets this way with like, you know, like full page long posts and these kinds of things.
Yeah, that's what's so great about it, Hutch, is like, even though it is funny and ridiculous and pointing out correct things about how bad Trump is, it's obviously a joke. Like, this isn't how Newsom actually talks. He's not trying to make salient points this way. It is mockery of Trump, and it is a very good mockery. And I think at its heart, it is still trying to point out how absurd it is and waking people up to like, hey, yeah, this isn't normal. Can you imagine if a Democrat did that? And they're finally doing it like the right way, because you'll see these other people are trying to like play dirty a little bit, and they're getting closer. Like, you know, Joe Biden might be like, oh, shut up. And people like that. Oh, they called them weird. But it's like, no, you got to go a little further than that. You got to be like absolutely disparaging to these people. You don't have to like fall so far that you're, you know, using slurs against gay people and marginalized groups to call them out like they do. But you still have to play as dirty, if not at least like, you know, there's no, you know, disarmament thing. We're not like nuclear proliferation has already happened. All right. Like we can't de-escalate because they're not going to de-escalate. You got to fight fire with fire to an extent. And I think Newsom's the first one who really has his finger on the pulse there.
Do you feel, because you did a debate, didn't you? And it was with Stephen and a couple of others. Was it with Kyla about Democratic
Connor,
rhetoric? Do you feel the same, or do you feel even more vindicated? And because this was before Newsom took his press office in a delightfully unhinged direction, how does what he's doing relate to that big centerpiece debate you had?
100% vindicated. I mean, this is what I was talking about. I'm like, we need to do more. One, because, you know, they don't care. There is no decorum. Like if, you know, someone makes some unhinged joke and it's super crossing a line for some of us, it doesn't matter if we hold our own to a standard because they're not going to do the same. But what's more important is like, it does come across as more authentic. It does appeal to more people when it's like, hey, my whole day is people telling me that Trump is a fascist, taking over, breaking all the rules, you know, deporting people, just the country is going to shit. And the best you can come up with is like, well, Mr. Trump, here's a strongly worded letter and we'll see you in 3 years. And it's like, no, like absolutely fire back at these people and channel that energy and capitalize off the fact that everyone is going insane watching the worst things happen to our country. Yeah, I'm 100% vindicated.
On that point, Soypel, quick question for you. Marry, fuck, kill, Stephen Chung, Stephen Miller, or Tom Homan?
Marry, fuck, kill, Stephen Miller. Okay, so kill Stephen Miller. I don't even know who the other guy is, and I know I'll like Stephen Miller more.
In a video
Stephen
game.
Chung.
Whoa,
Not in the video game, in a hypothetical MFK game, which we are playing right now. I would never advocate for violence.
Right.
Who is Stephen Chung?
Metaphor.
He's the White House communications director. Yeah, I'll
Very
show you.
obese.
Do you think he can cook?
Oh my God.
I guess marry
Sorry.
Stephen Chung, because I don't think I could.
That's
have sex
Stephen
with
Chung
him.
right there.
I don't know if you want
Which leaves me with
Marrying
who is the
Tom
third-
Homan?
With no,
The
it's
border
fucking
czar?
Tom Homan. Who, to be fair, I think, you know, we've seen him with the shirt off. Besides the weird kind of like, you know, Crusades Nazi tattoos that he's got going on. I mean, like,
No. You're thinking of Hegseth.
fuck, you're right. Crap.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Homan's the one who looks like
my
I'm
God.
seeing
Like,
slices of ham.
Oh no.
No, he looks like bologna.
I was thinking of
He looks
Hegseth.
like bologna.
Yeah, they
Was it
were.
bologna?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm still gonna guess that Tom Homan can't cook, so I'll kill Miller, fuck Homan, and marry Chung.
this is oh my
Wow.
God, bro! That is going to be
Oh,
the
no!
most fucking
That's a
aggravating
unit. That's a
marriage.
fucking unit.
That is like the most.
He's got
mismatched-
taste in
like
food. You can
his
see from that.
upper abdomen or his upper torso is so much.
He's a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man.
That
I
is
call
a
him Pearl from
strange
Blade.
Looking guy.
I call him Pearl from Blade, and I listen. Oh my God, like he is just a genuine piece of shit. You should, Soypo, you should go to his Twitter account and just see the shit he says. Like you think,
Pretty bad,
yeah, he's an absolute prick, and I think this is one of those instances where anything
Well, do I need to go to his
bully
Twitter?
him on is fair game.
Like I know about his border policies. I feel like the Twitter's not going to. Really
No, that's
change
Miller.
his mind, but-
That's Stephen Miller's border policy. That
No,
guy.
Homan is the border czar.
Yeah, but I was talking about Stephen Chung there. That was the guy I had.
Did you hear that
Oh,
Stephen
oh,
Miller
oh.
is a cuck? Like, or something happened with Elon Musk and his wife? Is that true, or is that just rumors?
And then she tells us he loves mayonnaise.
There was some reporting that he poached her for something, I think.
Oh no, Stephen, what are you
Yeah.
doing, Mr. Miller?
You know what's a big problem with Newsom being so ascendant right now is if he does, like, I don't know, right now I feel like his stock is fucking soaring in 2028. And if he does end up becoming the nominee, oh my God, the intra-party war that's going to happen if that takes place is going to make, I think, 2016 look quaint in comparison.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think this makes up for what kind of pissed me off, which was his kowtowing to Steve Bannon, to Charlie Kirk,
Yeah.
and moving a little right on some stuff, like with social policies? I was not a fan of that.
I am a
Despite the fact that-
forgiving man. I forgive him for that. If he actually follows through on the gerrymandering, I'm a forgiving God King.
He moderated somewhat rhetorically when it came to the specific issue of trans people in sports, but I think he also said that this should be something that's left to the various organizations.
Which I think is a reasonable position, right?
I think it's a reasonable position. And then also, if you look at his track record in California, I get so pissed when I see some of these lefties like attacking him over trans stuff, because he's signed literally like 6 or 7 bills into law in California that are super pro trans. Like you can, it's like a trans like sanctuary state. So people from out of state can take their take their children to pursue gender affirming care.
His progressive record goes like way before like any of the Dems were mainstream pro gay marriage. He was illegally officiating gay weddings at the San Francisco courthouse. Like prior to the Dems even supporting it on a major like platform. So he's been kind of ahead of the curve for certain progressive policies. And that's cool. I depending on what you want to talk about with how slow California is in development, I think people have a lot more to criticize him for, but
well, he just passed that big YIMBY bill like 2 months ago. It was a kind of a big deal. They got rid of a lot of restrictions on multifamily units. And so he's
abundance pilled, isn't he?
Oh, super abundance. He called out Ezra Klein when he signed that. When he did the press event to sign that bill, he name checked Ezra Klein.
Oh,
why not Derek Thompson?
That's what we
Like,
need.
if you're abundance pilled, like why doesn't Derek Thompson get any love?
Because his shit is worse. His shit is a little.
So you think
bit
it's
worse.
purposeful? You think it's because he
Ezra's
is the
chapters
lesser
are
of the
better.
two?
Ezra's chapters are better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I promised
just my
Aaron.
opinion.
I promised Aaron and Joe that I would read that book, and I got 2 pages in, so I've not.
I'm about a third of the way in. Is Ezra's chapters the first half, and then the other?
First, I think 3 chapters. Yeah, they probably all like they contributed it. A lot of it is work that they like. He's previously published in the New York Times, and they've like retooled and stuff. But yeah, I think that it's good that Gavin Newsom is taking a stronger tack. I also am willing to forgive people who make mistakes and who like make their messaging and make their campaign and make their rhetoric better. But there are some people who I think are just bad personnel that we should move on from. I'm going to just say it. People like Schumer. I don't think that he's at this point, I think, too old to be our leader. I don't
He
think
said
he's with
fuck
it.
the other day. He said fuck.
Oh, wow.
Did he say fuck? I think we should
we need
bomb
to fuck
Iran.
Trump.
Like, what did he say?
No, he said fuck that in response to the idea of resuming, like having Congress approve the 30-day emergency or extending the 30-day emergency that Trump imposed on D.C. And his words were, fuck that.
I didn't see that clip.
Who cares? Like, he's too old. He needs to retire. Same. And by the way, I think Hochul doesn't have it in her to be a base governor. And I think I would support a primary challenge against her as well.
I agree. Schumer's got to go. I think Jeffries catches some strays. Like, I feel like people are trying to take Schumer's baggage and then put it on Jeffries. But
no, I think he gets appropriate amounts of strays, Mr. Hutch. When refusing to endorse Mamdani in that interview with fucking like that, to me, that's fecklessness, that's weakness, and also he needs to talk like a normal person every now and then. These kind of like, have you seen these photo shoots that he does where he like alters the photos to make him look a little slimmer, and he wears this kind of to be like a normal person? Like, I don't think people are buying it.
I definitely preferred. I think there are there's a meaningful difference to Schumer and Jeffries. I don't put them on the same tier.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think like people saying that Jeffries should resign because Schumer fucked up, I think is where
Jeffries
it goes a little too far.
Yeah, I think Jeffries is in a like my call to action for him would be to step up. Because like he did a I can't remember what it was. Was it the big beautiful bill where he did the closest thing to a House filibuster where he spoke for 7 hours? Like that was based, especially when there was no meaningful alternative to actually ending the legislation. He pulled whatever lever he happened to have at the time. And I think speaking for 7 hours nonstop standing up is actually harder than a lot of people think. So he did that. He went viral. But that's the only fucking thing he could do. And I just think it was good that he did that. I don't think Schumer could do something like that. I don't think Schumer could do that for a fraction of the fucking time.
But can I ask you, Josiah and Hutch, do you feel like you say that because you're kind of like resigned to the fact that unlike Schumer, you don't see a world in which Jeffries resigns as leader and he's stuck there, and so you're just kind of
honestly,
or what?
No. Honestly, no. I genuinely believe that he's just on the line for me. Like he's in my call to action for him would be to step up because I see potential in him. Of course, he's got a really high bar to clear with Pelosi. As kind of, as his predecessor, because she was an administrative genius and she was the best at whipping votes. And so he's got big shoes to fill, or big Manola Blahniks to fill in particular. But Schumer, I think, there's no hope. There's no redemption for him as far as being a meaningful opposition leader to Trump. I am worried about, when the next budget fight comes up, which I think is next month or whatever. But I will also co-sign that Jeffries has got to endorse Mamdani, and he's getting called out for it.
No, he doesn't.
But he does.
He doesn't.
He does.
He's the leader of the Democratic Party.
I've made an about face on this one.
Holy shit! Why?
Because it's completely normal in the Democratic Party for prominent national Democrats to not endorse anyone in a New York City mayor's race. Like if it was like established precedent that like every prominent Dem gave endorsements, then I would.
He's a New York Dem. He's a New York Dem. It does matter. You're saying that there's no history of congressional leaders supporting the Democratic nominee in the mayoral race. That's just not true. They go and stump with them.
To me,
well, it's also Pisco. That's irrelevant too. It's more about the fact that this guy's making national news because he's doing so well. He's like revitalizing the progressive base. Obama is coming out and talking.
Is calling him.
Like this is like, oh, hey, this is what people are looking for. They're like, where's the Democratic leadership? Where's the new Democratic platform? This guy seems to have at least some sort of finger on the pulse. What do you think about this ostensible leader of the Democrats? He's like, I'll
have to talk to him and see what's up.
It's a bit ironic considering Mamdani's affiliation or his endorsement of.
That's what it is for you. Like let's level set. That is what it is for you.
It is fucking completely hypocritical.
It's hypocritical of you. Like it's the hypocrisy goes both ways. I agree.
No, it's not. It's hypocritical
yes,
for Mamdani supporters to demand that every prominent Dem endorse him.
It's not. It's me.
He couldn't be bothered to endorse the only person who could have spared us from fucking Donald Trump.
It's me though. It's me. So yeah, you can say people are hypocritical. They are hypocritical. Let's not be a victim to that hypocrisy ourselves, and let's lead by example. And he's the nominee. If it were Bernie who won in 2020, and by the way, I voted for him in 2020, or like in 2024, the same shit. But like, why when the alternatives are a Republican, Curtis Sliwa, fucking corrupt Mayor Adams, and Cuomo, who's running a cynical as fuck campaign? Why wouldn't Democrats step up and see the energy and endorse? I mean, like to me, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to expect that kind of loyalty and respect in return.
I mean, what if Jeffries has like serious concerns about Mamdani and he just doesn't feel comfortable endorsing?
Well, then he should say that instead of just being like,
Yeah.
geez, guys. Like, if he has unironic political,
that would be bad.
malice.
That would be bad if you say if you specifically say, I think that's a bad idea. I agree with you there. That's too far. There's been a few Democrats that have done that. I think think that's nonsense. And you're like marginalizing New York City voters by doing that as well.
Well,
but if he
if you have
declines,
Well, then it sounds like the best thing you should do is, even if he has gripes with them, should endorse and capitalize off that energy and try to move those people to what he thinks are more like better policies. But what you're saying right now is he can't denounce them because that's bad for the New York voters, but he also can't endorse because he might have problems with them. Therefore, he should just sit around and twiddle his thumbs.
like
for the next
and the reservations
all the time. Why?
And if
are people pretending like Mamdani is this like?
It's not about Mamdani.
Like,
it's about the principle of the thing. Here's my point. So like, first off, if Jeffries has reservations about Mamdani such that he feels he can't endorse him, then presumably those reservations are such that he doesn't want Mamdani to win. Because if you want Mamdani to win, you'd endorse him, right? So then you have two options, and there's no magical third option. If your reservations are such where you can't endorse the guy, then you clearly don't want him to win, in which case you should go public with your reservations about him. Number one. Number two, if you have reservations about him, but they're not such a, I'd still, all else being equal, want him to win, then fucking co-sign it. You don't have to blow smoke up his ass. You can just say, listen, in this particular race, the voters in New York City have chosen, as far as the Democratic nominee, I'm one of the leaders of the Democratic Party, despite some disagreements that I have with Zoran Mamdani. I think that he's the best of the three candidates, and I officially endorse him. And you can phrase it however you want. I'm doing it off the cuff. But the other thing
Josiah,
is,
what you just said, like, that would alienate no one. If it's like, hey, I have some, like, I feel that way about Mamdani. I'm like, hey, I'm not on board with this whole platform, but like, this guy's got like a lot of good ideas for a lot of different policies, and he clearly has the energy. I think he should like.
And Jeffries could even lean into this thing. And he could even say, listen, the Democratic Party is the big tent party, and I can't be expected to only endorse those with whom I have absolutely no critical disagreements, and especially if I expect people who back Mamdani to vote for other Democrats in elections down the road. And he could make the point that the soy pill and Pisco and I are making, which is vote blue no matter who, has to cut both ways. And if we expect progressives to vote blue no matter who, we must also hold up the standard.
It's different from endorsements, and it's super normal for even prominent New York Democrats to decline to endorse in a New York City mayoral race.
If vote blue no matter who is different, if we're talking about if the principle is different, then why do you care that Mamdani didn't endorse Kamala?
Yep.
Ask that again.
You said that vote blue.
He's saying it's different for mayoral versus the general election. Like,
come on, this guy's
there's an obvious difference. Right now, Mamdani is comfortably ahead in that race. He simply does not need Jeffries' endorsement. And compared with Kamala versus Trump, everybody knew that was going to be a close election. And this guy Mamdani decided that he wasn't going to do any kind of endorsement. It's a completely different.
If he had, so here's the question that I think Josiah was pushing at. If Mamdani had endorsed Kamala, would you be saying the same thing?
I would, yeah. There's two different there's two different considerations here. So there's the hypocrisy of Mamdani's supporters demanding fealty from every prominent national Democrat, and then there's
wait a second. I'm a Mamdani supporter, so
okay.
Clearly you're referring to a subset of them, right?
I'm referring to people that are like demanding that everybody endorse this guy when this guy didn't endorse Kamala.
So Hutch, I think the issue here is not that, hey, Hakeem Jeffries needs to do this because we need his support to win the election. I think more of it is about the fact that Hakeem Jeffries is ostensibly one of the, or should be one of the vocal leaders of this party, and where a lot of people feel disaffected. You can see this, the donations right now are not very good for the DNC because people aren't sure which way the DNC is going to go. They need to pick a direction. Now, if Hakeem Jeffries is like, I'm not sure that's the direction we want to go, okay, but say that then. Say, hey, I don't know if this is what I want the face of the Democratic Party to go, and find a message that's the other direction.
There's like, no upside. There's no upside to doing that because he sees the writing on the wall. He knows Mamdani's going to win. So he's the, what would that help anything if he like preemptively undermined Mamdani?
It's not about help. If he doesn't want him to win, why should he not say, hey, I don't want this kind of stuff to be the face of the Democratic Party?
Because he knows he can't stop him from winning. Look at the numbers. He's like crushing right now. Like the second.
So wait a minute.
So then
wait a
why
minute.
not capitalize off the energy of an inevitable win and try to get those people into your tent?
Yeah,
Because he personally obviously is uncomfortable.
You're so
with
full of
Mamdani.
shit. You're so full of shit.
If you
You're playing the
can't follow
devil's
my
advocate
logic,
here.
I can
No,
dumb
no,
it
I
down.
understand
what's the
your
logic?
logic,
Wait, what's the logic? So
He
what is the
can't
practical
stop him from
benefit?
winning. So there's no like it would be complete downside for him to say, you know, I don't like where Mamdani is taking the party or whatever. So like what would he personally gain from that? This is just about a calculation.
The energy of like the entire youth of the Democratic Party who's behind Mamdani. It's like, oh, the leadership is endorsing the guy I really like. It looks like the Democrats are moving in a good direction. Maybe now I won't think the word Democrat is poison anymore.
And we will have more
he's
credibility to
obviously-
prosecute the case that if you're an eligible voter and you're a progressives, if you're an Emma Vigeland or a Crystal Ball or whomever, that you, because the New York Democrats or the New Jersey Democrats in the case of Cory Booker, who, yes, opined and endorsed on previous mayoral candidates. So when he says, I don't get involved in New York politics, go fuck yourself. That's not
He's
true.
also declined a couple times as well.
So-
Like, he hasn't done an endorsement every
So
time.
when
you guys are mad that there are Democrats in the party that are uncomfortable with Mamdani. That's what you're mad about.
No.
Oh,
specifically
no,
him.
you way off
No,
base.
that's
Yeah,
not true.
way.
That's not true.
That's
No.
what's going on. They're uncomfortable with Mamdani. That's what's
No,
happening. So they
we're
don't wanna
uncomfortable because we're consistent. We are like you in the sense that we want Democrats to close ranks around other Democrats.
But this is
you
not- there's no-
make exceptions
No, you
because
guys
you
are-
you're on a fucking hate arc against progressives. That's what this is.
That's not what this is. You guys are acting as though it's this firmly established precedent that prominent Democrats always endorse the mayoral candidate.
No,
This is the way the
No one here
Democratic
said precedent.
Hang on. This is the way the Democratic Party works. Not everybody endorses everybody else. It's a big tent. Some people are not comfortable endorsing, and you're over here saying that
It's
they should
about
just
the
do it
current
anyways.
moment, Hutch. It's about, look, if all of these other people on board, or even someone who Obama is not even close to one-to-one with the Mamdani platform, and even he is on board and saying, hey, look, as the former leader, as the former voice of the Democrats, I think this guy has good energy and he's pushing the Democrats in a good direction. This is why I'm showing my support for him. Why can't not any other Democrat, you know, if fucking some, you know, middle of the road person like oh my God, why can't I remember the guy who's no longer the one who doesn't matter. If a centrist Democrat said, hey,
Were you
I
gonna say
don't
Manchin?
like Manchin, yes. If Manchin
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
like, I
nice.
don't love all of these policies, I wouldn't be upset that he's not like, he's obligated to endorse. It's like he doesn't agree with this platform, of course. But we're talking now about Hakeem Jeffries, who's the leader, right? It's like, hey, I see this energy. I see how this is. I want to capitalize off of this energy that is making the Democrats actually have a voice again. Like that. That's what we're looking for right now.
But
It's not
that's
that he's
obviously-
obligated to. If he
but
doesn't like him, he should say that.
But that's obviously not his calculation.
What's the
I
calculation?
know. I know.
What's the benefit?
He doesn't want to like capitalize.
I know
on
you
the
think it
energy.
should be the soy pill, but it isn't. Have you thought about that?
Okay, so
He obviously is not comfortable with the direction that Mamdani might take the party. Like I think that everybody can understand that that's what's going on here. So it stands to reason that he wouldn't endorse him.
Okay, so it stands to reason if you don't think that Kamala Harris is the right approach to the party that you should endorse her. Fair?
Sure, go for it.
No, that's different.
No.
Progressives are obligated to endorse moderates, but moderates are not
Come on,
obligated to
we were
endorse
talking all this
progressives.
shit. We're talking all this shit in the context of the national election
That
because the
only
alternative
became
is
relevant because of this election. Like the fact that he didn't endorse her, who gives a fuck? But like now that
You give a
now
fuck.
that he-
I
now
care.
That, now that
I care.
he's
I think he
running,
should've.
now that he's
I'm
running
consistent.
as mayor, and then you have like people acting like he's owed everyone's endorsements when he couldn't be bothered to do the
No. The question is the following. The question is the following.
Ever.
Would you have a problem if someone, a Democrat, who is more focused on state politics, doesn't really have a stake as much in the national election, if they said something like, "I don't like the direction that the party is going into under Kamala Harris, and so I'm not going to endorse. I'll vote, but I'm not going to endorse."
I just told you that's a specific like I don't like the direct. I agree that rhetoric would be bad. If someone just if a Democratic politician just neutrally says like I want to sit this one out, I don't want to do an endorsement. This happens all the fucking time in the party.
We
This is
had
not
problems. We had
abnormal.
problems with fucking Chappell Roan when she didn't endorse Kamala Harris. We
Okay,
had
so
problems with.
does this apply to every mayor's race with a population above like
This
5
is
million?
different.
Like, what are we doing?
Hutch,
The
this is
reason we're talking about it is because he's a nationwide famous figure with an unprecedented amount of momentum. This isn't like every single mayor race in every single city across
And
the
it's
country.
New York City. It's the fucking center of financial and global. Like
It's the Big Apple. It's the Big Apple. What are you talking
Los
about?
Angeles?
I'm walking here.
When the next Los Angeles mayoral election comes along, are you going to be like demanding that everybody endorse her? No.
The Democratic
If it
candidate,
gets this
yes.
big, yeah.
The Democratic candidate, 100% it would. If the options on offer were parallel in the California case, you better believe it that I'm going to call on California Democrats to close ranks and support the Democrat. That was our entire argument for Kamala. And
Listen, that is not how this works. It just doesn't. Maybe I'm different because I like to work in the world as it is. I like to just like treat things as they are in the world and not
I use facts,
get
and
hung
you
up
guys are
on like
using
this
your feelings.
aspirational goals that you guys have for the party. But I'm telling
I'm
you,
just foreseeing. I'm just foreseeing the conversations that we're gonna have in 2 years, and these clips are gonna be thrown back in my face. Like, hey, Josiah,
they
hey,
didn't
listen,
support our guy.
Yeah, you want people to back your specific candidate, or you want them to back the Democrat here and here and here. But what about your fucking co-host Hutch? What about your buddy Hutch?
This is such a silly conflation of New York's mayor's race with the president of the United States, and you think these things are analogous?
Bro, it could be
Seriously?
a different position, and you'd be like, oh, so you
It's
expect them
not
to
the
endorse
same
on a
thing.
waning gibbous moon?
What
I mean,
about a
like,
federal
come on,
office? What about a federal office? Let's say it's a senator or it's a governor or
That's not the same thing either. Yes.
Why? So the New York mayoral
Why
team,
is the senator's race different from a presidential race?
No. They're different races. They have different implications, but it's not the presidency, right? So if all of a sudden, if Jeffries didn't endorse a Democratic candidate for House of Representatives, would you have a problem with that? Is it just because it's under his purview?
Wait, ask the question again. Hold on.
Okay, so if there were a Democratic nominee for House of Rep, it's one district in one state, and that guy's like a Mamdani type, and Hakeem Jeffries doesn't endorse. Let's say it's a very prominent and famous race in a district. Would you have a problem with that? I would have a problem with that.
I would not have a problem with that if he didn't endorse, because this happens all the fucking
So
time.
the vote blue, no matter who, it only applies to the national office, the presidency. Is that right?
There's voting and then there's endorsing.
Does it only apply? Does the vote blue?
I have to say, because I'm with Hutch on the idea of like, I don't think the leader of the Democrats has to endorse every single Democratic candidate, especially if it's not even in the general yet, right? Like maybe there are positions that he doesn't agree with. The reason this is different is not because, the mayoral race is exactly the same as the president. Obviously, those are different, Hutch. I think you're equivocating when you say that we think these things are the same, because we don't. It's because Mamdani has an unprecedented movement and momentum akin to Bernie Sanders, although he was in the general and this is a mayoral race, that is giving the Democrats new life. That is like after 6 months of just the turmoil of the Trump campaign, people finally have hope that the Democratic platform can change to something a little more progressive, or at least give people a direction to go in. And that's fine if he doesn't agree with everything in there. And like I said, and I'm sure maybe Pisco and Josiah can agree with me, we're not 1-to-1, 100% like the same politics as Mamdani.
We're not, no.
What I am on board is a leader that is giving us hope that the leader of the Democrats should be like, hey, I need to capitalize on this movement, and not be like, I'm not sure about that. Because what that's doing is rejecting all of the energy and hope that the young vote is coming in. It's like, well, if the Democrats won't even go with the person that is giving me the energy that I haven't felt in 4 years, then what the fuck are they going to do? That's what he needs to do. He needs to say, hey, I don't agree with everything this guy does, but I think this guy should win. I'm on board with the energy that he's providing to the Democratic Party. I endorse 100% of his fucking platform.
I think a lot of people right now are extrapolating way too much from this New York City's mayor's race. So like, I think people are looking at Mamdani and they're treating him like he's this herald of like a political revolution within the Democratic Party in this country. Maybe that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you for sure that's not going to happen, but people are treating it as though that is what's happening right now. When in reality, you have this young guy who was savvy, who was charismatic, who did run on like an economically populist platform, and people should take notes from his campaign, but he was running against two fucking scandal-plagued dinosaurs in the Democratic Party. And so if people are going to take this mayor's race and view that as a certainty that like AOC is going to win in 2028, I just think that's a bit foolish and sure, like you're putting the cart before the horse.
Do you endorse Mamdani?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So, Hutch, you said that, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be good if you think it's good to endorse him? It would be a good thing if Jeffries endorsed him, right? To do what you did, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I guess my point is like, I just don't have this expectation that the Democratic Party works this way, because it doesn't work this way.
Well,
It's just-
I don't.
it just-
I don't understand what you mean by good, other than it's something he ought do, right? Like my understanding of good is what ought happen, what ought obtain. Like, so if you say it ought happen, that like if you say something's good, you're saying he ought do it, right? So I don't understand why you wouldn't agree with us, unless you have some different notion of good, that Jeffries ought endorse Mamdani. It seems to be coextensive of what it is to be good.
Because
understand what I'm
my position as like a fucking podcaster and a streamer is different from someone who's like the Speaker of the House, who has his own constituents that he's, I mean, like maybe like if his constituents are, I don't even know what district he serves in. I don't know if it's super moderate, if it's super progressive. I really don't know what his calculation is. But if he doesn't do it, then I assume he has his own like personal reasons for not doing it. And it's just not that big of a deal to me.
But he
I have
ought
a
do it, right?
follow-up.
You're saying
He's gonna be fine.
But you're
He's gonna
saying
win.
he ought do it, right? Because you're saying it's good, and so you are saying, aren't you, that Jeffries ought do it because it would be good for him to do it.
It's understandable that somebody else may make a different decision because they have a different set of
whether or not it's
considerations.
understandable, or whether that's understandable or not. If you're by you saying it would be good for Jeffries to endorse, aren't you saying Jeffries ought do it?
I'm to be honest with you, I'm indifferent.
Okay,
That's
so you're
where I'm
not
at
saying
with
it's
it.
good. So wait, so you're not, it's not good to endorse him?
I'm indifferent. I'm saying if he endorses or doesn't endorse, he has his own set of considerations to worry about. That's
So
like removed from me, and it's just not. It's not my call. And again,
what's
like
the harm in doing what we said, which is not a full endorsement insofar as everything on the platform, but just saying, "Hey, I like where this is going. I like that you're giving energy to the movement, and I think this is going in a good spot."
Ruben
Godspeed,
Gallego
like-
did it like yesterday or today. He has a clip that's gone viral. He was asked about it. This is a guy, a senator out in Arizona. He's like, so what about, people not just in your party, like your fellow politicians not embracing Mamdani, but challenging him and pushing back. And Gallego, of all people, is like, it's fucking stupid. We're making the tent small. We need to make it big. And he's where the momentum is. He's the Democratic nominee, and people certainly don't need to get in his way, and they should endorse him. And we need to get behind it. I'm paraphrasing here, but
did
he's gone
Gallego
viral.
say that everybody should endorse him? Is that what he said?
I'll find the clip while we're doing that.
I doubt that.
No. He might be right. That's what I'm saying. I was paraphrasing. Let's just pull up the clip.
Again, I agree that no one should be going out of their way to like signal to the country we shouldn't make any room for people like Mamdani in the party. I agree. That's completely corrosive and bad. The difference is I just don't expect that every representative and senator, they have their own constituents to worry about. And if they
we're talking about the vocal leader of the Dems, though. But final question, because we're going to keep going in circles.
Yeah, we're looping.
For you, Hutch, and that is, if you said, okay, it looks like he's going to win, right? If he wasn't going to win, if it was like, hey, maybe Hakeem Jeffries' endorsement is the difference, do you think he is obligated?
question.
I think that would be a different consideration. I think that would be a different calculation. I would agree in that spot that he should probably endorse.
I was going to ask you a similar hypothetical before we play this clip, which is, if let's set aside whether or not Mamdani wins or loses based off Jeffries' endorsement, because I agree it seems almost certain that he'll win regardless. If you knew that not endorsing Mamdani would cause progressives to once again sit out the 2028 presidential election in such numbers as to be outcome determinative because they say you didn't back Mamdani, it's got to cut both ways, would you then say, fuck it, every Democrat needs to co-sign Mamdani?
Sure, if you could give me convincing
Fair enough.
that would happen.
Fair enough. Okay. So let's take a look at this clip, and then we'll close the loop on it.
Final question before I let you go and let you get out of here. What about Mamdani in the New York mayor's race? What is he? Does he have a message that you think it could resonate with folks? I mean, he's talking about cost of living. He's talking about freezing rent. He's talking about open government-run grocery stores. But it seems like the center left of the party is like attacking him.
Yeah, I don't know why they're attacking him. I think it's stupid when maybe we're not in 100% agreement, right? But he has some ideas that are clearly, attracting people. It's okay to say, I disagree with this, this, and this, but I agree with that. But the idea that we're just going to throw out people that are really bringing in new ideas to the fold, exciting people just because they're slightly to the right or to the left of us, I think is dumb. The problem with Democrats is that we have been shrinking our tent as much as possible to the point where there's not many people left. And that happens on the left side of our party, and also happens on the right side of the party. And we can't do that. That's not how we win, and that's not how we put a winning coalition together.
Final question.
So he's not demanding that people endorse there, to be clear. He's just saying don't like shit talk him and say he's not welcome in the party. Let me say one final thing, and then you guys can decide if you want to respond. But I think what's going on with Mamdani, it's almost like a proxy fight, I think. Because I think the progressives right now are really gearing
Can you clarify
up,
real quick about do you agree with everything Gallego said here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay.
100% I agree with that. But I think the progressives in this country are treating the Mamdani thing like a proxy fight, in that they're really gearing up to try to do like a big takeover in 2026 and 2028. They're, Israel is one of the things that they're using to make like do like a lightning rod issue. Like anybody who doesn't pass that test, they're gearing up to go to war with. And I think they're upset that by some people not endorsing, it's almost like they're signaling that they're like, I think they want complete capitulation from like people that they view to be the establishment or centrist or moderates or whatever. And the fact that some people are not endorsing, I think that's what makes people upset, because he's fucking crushing the closest competition in that race by like 25 points. It's virtually.
Well, it's not what's upsetting me, Hutch. I mean, it could be your assessment. Maybe you'll know more than me on the lefties, is that this is kind of angst at a failure or perceived failure to take over the whole party. I don't know. You might be right about that, but that's not why I'm upset. I'm upset because
I don't think you are.
Yeah, I'm upset because, one, it's my city, and so I do care about it. And two, I think it shows a kind of fecklessness that the Republicans wouldn't demonstrate when we need to close ranks to be in opposition against Trump. The notion that like we could be sitting out an election when it's clearly lesser of two evils under any metric for Democrats should be Mamdani, that offends me. And I do see a parallel, even though it has a different character of the office, mayoral election versus the presidency. I agree with you there. But like Soypil said, like this is now a national conversation about this. It's kind of different than just like some random mayor in some random place. This is the center of the world, center of financial global capitalism. And so in this context, I think it's very disappointing, and it's a part of a pattern too. If this was just the one thing, but it's kind of a pattern of weakness, of fecklessness. Fucking Jeffries is going to Silicon Valley to go and like cozy up to the tech oligarchs and shit and tech billionaires. Jeffries is being weak in other ways as well, and the Democrats generally. So like I just am super disappointed in some members of our coalition for their statements, and that doesn't come from a place of the wanting to see the leftists do a complete takeover of our party.
Okay.
All right. So with what time we have left, we talked about Trump versus elections. We talked about Dark Gavin. We talked about Hutch being wrong on Mamdani. Now, the other thing I want to ask you is about the Putin summit. What do you guys think about that? Did that go the way you expected? Was it surprising to you? Hutch, you probably cover more foreign affairs than the rest of us. What do you think?
I don't know. No, nothing about it surprised. I mean, obviously Putin was never going to give an inch. And so I don't know. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the coverage of that. I saw some negative coverage, even on like Fox News. I think they ran a segment that was like really scathing.
Where's the deal?
Yeah. I mean,
was this Bartiromo? Did she say something?
Was it her? No. I think it was some blonde correspondent.
Jackie Heinrich. She was there in almost at Helsinki in Alaska, and she was in the room. And she was just like, "This looked bad. Trump got steamrolled." Yeah.
And there was also some reporting today that I wasn't on Twitter a bunch today, but there was some reporting that there was like AIDS in the room that were like shocked. I think Caroline
Levitt.
There's a reporting that she was like kind of rattled by what she saw in the Putin exchange. I think it's just obvious that Putin plays this guy every fucking time they're on camera together. It's pretty wild. I mean, like there's just I don't know if MAGA was deluding themselves into thinking that Trump was going to negotiate some kind of like actual land swap, but I don't know anyone who thought that. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It's obvious
what a land swap look like, because it's like this started off with the Ukraine and as a sovereign country, and then Russia took a bunch of land. Like what does Russia give back? Like what does that even mean?
The rest of the country that they don't have. Like that's what I read about it. That the concession was, listen,
right.
if you give us a quarter of your sovereign territory, we won't take the other 3/4. That's our concession.
They're not going to give up a single inch of territory that they've taken over. And I think some people on MAGA, like in MAGA land, was deluding themselves into thinking. And so now they're shifting the goalpost. And I don't know. Trump was he was definitely more diplomatic today. He was very self-aggrandizing in that stupid fucking meeting that he did. And
bro,
claim credit for like ending 6 wars or whatever he did.
Total full of shit, by the way. Like,
right?
just,
Yeah. And then also I did like hearing from European leaders who were definitely stronger on this issue than our fucking president is. But I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with this.
The cope I've been seeing, like there are these Fox reporters like John Roberts, who again I say is like giving real stiff competition to Chief Justice John Roberts in the lamest John Roberts contest.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody's saying that Trump's Alaska trip was a disaster, but look at this. And he's got a picture of Trump meeting with European leaders. I'm like, he's the fucking president of the United States. If he wants to meet with the fucking chancellor of Germany, yes, he can snap his fingers and make like, ooh, congratulations. You know, like, I hate these people.
It's very my favorite moment of the whole thing was when Putin said, "You're right, Trump. You're right. This never would have happened if you were president." Like,
yeah, get wrecked, Pisco. Get wrecked, Hutch. What about that?
And I, by the way, I anticipate whenever we do like the debates, when MAGA wants to debate again in the next election cycle, they'll be like, "Look, even Putin agrees that Trump was right. That if Trump were president, we wouldn't have that war."
Can we just do this Socratically? I'm curious. I'm gonna role play the MAGA guy for a minute. Like, okay, Pisco, Hutch, Soy Pill. You guys, talk shit about Donald Trump, but you have Vladimir Putin himself confirming that if Trump had been president in 2020, he would not have invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying, dude. He's lying.
But he didn't invade. He didn't invade the first time.
Yeah. Well, that's because he was always at. Oh, yeah. I can see. This is the kind of argument shit that we'll go through, and it's.
Piece of the problem with it too is you can have it both ways. I remember when I was on Tim Pool, or I think also when Wick was on Tim Pool. Like, it's always, if Putin says something that they don't like, such as, hey, Putin says he wants to take control of all of Ukraine, essentially. He's like written about this for decades.
Then they don't believe
They're
it.
like, well, he's lying. I mean, you can't believe Putin. You just told me you can't believe Putin.
Or when he said, was it in 2018 at Helsinki that he wanted Trump to win the 2016 election? Yeah.
Yeah, but then, didn't he say, like, maybe even jokingly, I wanted Kamala to win 2024? And it's like, well, is he lying there? She's the Russian candidate. So it's kind of like you can't really use Putin as his word as an argument in either direction, because they're going to be able to obfuscate in either way. You have to look at the actions. And it's like, okay, are the actions of the man who wants the guy who says, I'm going to defund the resistance to Putin's takeover to be president? That probably makes sense that he would want that guy and not the person who says, I will fund Ukraine until, I know Biden said, essentially blank check. Obviously, there's some point that would be a stopping point if, it got insane. But one of these people is way more pro-Ukraine. There's a reason he's saying this. There's a reason he's cozying up to Trump, and the mail-in ballots are probably the reason you almost lost in 2020 or whatever. Like, it's all just feeding his ego because he can't give him a Qatari jet. So
every time Putin and Trump like share some kind of a format together, it's just so fucking embarrassing as an American, because like it's so obvious. Like what makes Donald Trump, I think, like especially dangerous is that he's both like he's both a fragile narcissist and a fucking moron. And so it's a really dangerous combo, and it's super easy for someone like Putin to manipulate. And it's just everybody with fucking two brain cells to scrape together can see this guy just very obviously manipulating Donald Trump, like by flattery, telling him, like buying into his delusions about the mail-in ballots and the war wouldn't have even started. And Donald Trump has no fucking idea that he's being manipulated. And I have no confidence that anyone in his orbit is warning him about that.
Do you think Putin does mail-in voting? Like that's that's a fucking annoying thing. Russia does mail-in voting. It's probably not worth a damn. That is probably rigged as fuck. But
I was gonna say, like, if you brought up rigged elections to Trump, could you break through the shell? Like, do you think he like knows all the stories of the rigged elections, but he says like, Putin, he said I should have gotten 110% of the vote. Actually, frankly, I should have been getting way more.
You gotta do the hands. Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
And they're taking, I saw them, they're in the little room, they're taking the ballots and they're putting them in the box. They're doing this. And it's fine. It's totally fine. He wins so much.
I think Trump demands that kind of flattery from his underlings, but then when it's someone that he considers to be like more powerful than him, which I do think he thinks that way about Putin. Like, I don't think he looks down on Putin. Then I think he's just completely oblivious to the obvious attempts to manipulate him.
Counterpoint. Piers Morgan, Hutch and
Oh,
Pisco
no.
and Soy Pill. Fucking deal with this shit. Great to see such positive body language between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky at the Oval Office today.
No, but this is Zelensky manipulating Trump. Like, he knows how bad the last one went, and so he showed
he
up.
wore
He's
a
wearing-
suit.
He's wearing a little suit. He's like, Zelensky, I think, did a good job of like advocating for his country. You know, like that's a bit of a sacrifice. You have to sort of like demean yourself a little bit, but like, but no, I think he did the right thing there. So
you know what he should have said? He should have also said, you know what? I think you did win the 2020 election. You should get rid of mail. Like, he's probably.
We have the emails that show it. We have the emails.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Hunter Biden and Burisma. Do you still want that investigation into Hunter Biden and Burisma?
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, Zelensky should say that.
What did you guys think of the MAGA talking point of like, oh, he showed Putin's who's boss. He flew a B-52 bomber or like a stealth bomber over. Like, what?
These guys will clap at anything. It's like a fucking baby with
like,
keys.
Yeah, it's like Putin knows they have bombers, and it's not like he was gonna like, oh, I like drop this bomb on both of us. I'll kill us right now. Like, what the fuck did you? What was that?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think that would do? Like, I think on the contrary, something Putin did that was a little bit more of like a tough guy thing was when he was talking with Merkel. And he brought that dog in the room, knowing that she has like a phobia of dogs. Like, that was actually like a kind of a fucked up big dick move.
Little mind game, yeah.
Yeah, but like, oh, hey, look at this bomber. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna die.
Can I will tell you, because I forgot about that moment, but the one that still sticks out to me where I was like, oh, he is a comic book villain brought to life. Putin is when. Do you guys remember when Chris Wallace from Fox News landed that marquee interview with Putin in like 2018? Yeah. And Wallace, like, at one point was like, why do so many people who oppose you wind up dead? Like, that was one of the standout moments. But another moment is Wallace is trying to wrap up the interview because he was told that they have a time frame. And so he starts to ask a question. He's like, and Mr. President, I understand that, you probably don't have the time for this. And Putin says, don't worry about time. I control time here. And I was just like, that's a fucking Bond villain line. You know what I mean? Like, I have the time stone. It is mine. I am the time stone.
It reminds me of South Park when we have Saddam Hussein. He's like, relax, buddy. Like, look over here. Just take a seat. No, I think that these, whenever these dictators are asked these questions, they're used to fielding this shit. It doesn't bother them. And the fucking bomber thing is all theater for, like, I think some of the base to clap like seals. Oh my God, there was a bomber. Oh my God, there was a person holding a drone. We did a military parade, but none of it's real.
There was a bunch of military soldiers on their knees rolling the red carpet out for a foreign dictator.
Oh yeah, I guess that was a little yikes.
MAGA saw the B-52 bomber and they thought that Putin's internal response was like, oh my God, look at all this like power in the sky. But really what Putin was thinking in that moment was like, this fucking idiot is trying to impress me with this stupid bullshit. Like, he knew for sure what he was doing there.
Well, no, because was it Soy Pill's point where he's like, what are you going to do with that thing? Worst case scenario, what exactly do you think you're going to do with that?
Trump has the grenade vest from The Dark Knight.
Yeah, he's got a suicide vest on.
Blow this out of proportion. On the actual substance, though, so like it looks like they're saying, at least Witkoff said, that they're gonna, Russia's agreeing or is possibly going to agree to some sort of like Article 5 like protections. And my question of all of this is like, okay, let's just say they did. Like, what does that mean? Like, how is that any different from the Budapest referendum? How is this like any different? Like, oh, we promise not to do this again. It looks like in this scenario that they're drawing up, the people who are more likely to have to invoke this Article 5 like thing, because they're not going to join NATO, is going to be Europe, which is, good that the people closest who have the most interest in defending them is going to help them militarily. But all that's saying is like, hey, like, we're going to go build up our military, we'll stop for a while, and then we're going to try again, essentially. Like, why should we be taking this at face value at all?
So the New York Times has a pretty interesting article about this. I thought it was decent. On the one hand, the sentiment in Ukraine isn't in favor of land swaps. It's something like, even though they want to end the war, obviously, 79%, something like that, oppose
75%,
any kind of,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
like, completely reject any seating, yeah.
Yeah, and they went into a little bit about the demands, even though they're kind of structured to look like they're doing concessions, because like, oh, we're only asking for like 2 territories, or they're limiting some of their requests according to Putin. They're asking for all of Donetsk, which that has some the portion that is under the control of Ukraine has some like very important massive fortifications, and so to give that up, it would remind you. I mean, like, I'm sorry to do the the classic Hitler comparison, but it reminds you a little bit of the fortifications in the Sudetenland when the Munich arrangement was done. So it would be a big ask to grant Putin's actual requests. And security guarantees, what are we talking about if it's not NATO? Like troops on the ground, European troops on the ground, American troops on the ground? And like, is that any better? Who the fuck cares?
Trump said he wouldn't rule out American troops, right? I think I saw that.
I thought I saw something like that, but I can't source the quote offhand. So as we wrap up here, because I've unfortunately, I really do have a hard out here. I just saw this. Did you guys see the MSNBC rebranding? Yeah. I'm about to show you. This just made me lol. This is hilarious. So as the cable news channel, MSNBC splits up with NBC News this year. It's now dropping the NBC from its name. Later this year, it will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion of the World. I saw this and I burst into multiple sclerosis now. What the fuck are they thinking? This is a shitty. This is a shitty logo. This is awful. It's awful. But we do have to close on one note of seriousness, because even though, obviously, especially here lately, we've had some stark disagreements. The soy pill, this is important for you. The final test, as it were, will be, what are your thoughts on the one thing that unites Hutch, Pisco, and myself, which is Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur? What do you think about them?
You know, I never really liked the Young Turks. I watched them back in, funnily enough, 2014, there was a very rich kid, like son of a Fortune 500 CEO named It's Lavish Bitch, and he would troll people by like throwing stacks of $100 bills onto balloons and just letting it fly away because he just wanted to flaunt his wealth. And they covered that, and I was like, what is this weird tabloid journalism? This isn't anything I am interested in. Then I found out they did politics, and I wasn't really a big fan of their commentary. I didn't love it. But then Ana Kasparian started Zog posting, and that was when she won me over. So I'm now wholly supporting of the insane 9/11 Israeli conspiracy posting. Ana Kasparian. No, I've never really been a big fan of any of them. The amount of deference and weight they will pull for the right wing, and then like completely shit on the Dems is absolutely abhorrent to me, where it's like, oh, you know, hey, like I'm willing to cross the bridge if the Trump camp is willing to like build bridges. And it's like, you know, I see the Pisco posts all the time where it's like, hey, Cenk, like this is what they're fucking doing. Are you going to denounce this? Is this the bridge? And it's like, no, actually today I want to shit on Democrats. It's like, fuck, I'm not. Okay, buddy. Like, this is ridiculous. They're not serious. And what Anna now has a podcast with who's this like former Democrat
Jillian
staffer?
Michaels?
No, not the
Lindy Lee.
Lindy Lee.
Lindy Lee, yeah, who's just like, this is not.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, these people should not be taken seriously. They and like Anna has been radicalized because like a homeless guy like assaulted her, and it's like, look, I'm from the Bay Area. If that's what's going to make you stop being a progressive, I don't know what to tell you. I get assaulted by homeless people on the way to the grocery store every day, and you just got to learn some judo, okay? Like, we can build more housing, get them out of there, and you don't have to turn into a fucking insane internet person. So no, I'm not a fan of Anna or Cenk at all. Yeah, that's my take on that. I hope that keeps me on, but that's my real opinion. I'm not going to lie for you.
Well, Hutch, what do you think? What do you think? Does it keep him on? Is that a good answer?
I co-sign. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say one other thing, though. I just saw that Cenk Uygur posted, I'm torn on Ukraine. On one hand, Trump has made a mess of the negotiations and Putin treats him like a beta. And the idea of taking Putin's suggestion for what to do with our voting system is ludicrous. But I like at least that he's trying to get to peace. Can you imagine, by the way, if someone said that about like Israel-Palestine, when like, oh yeah, Palestinians should give up land for peace, and they should all leave they should leave Gaza in order to get achieve peace, and we should be okay with that. Like, to me,
it's the brain rot. I'm against war position. It's like, yeah, everyone doesn't like war. It's what are you seeding here? What's going to happen in the future? Like, this is I had to get on Tim Pool's case for this because it's like, hey, like, oh, your Democrats are pro-war because they defend Ukraine. It's like, okay, are you pro-war because you would invoke Article 5 and you just got flashbanged? You like didn't even know how to answer that fucking question. It's like, yeah, like, there are reasons you commit violence and there's reasons you don't, and like, you can't just be anti-war. It's a brain rot like populist thing that Anna and Cenk are pulling right now.
Yeah. Well, I know you have a hard out, Josiah, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Soy Pill, thank you so much for taking this awesome mantle. Big shoes to fill, but you're the right guy in my opinion, and I just want to also do a little quick shout out to Econo Boy. Love you, buddy.
Yeah. I will never replace him, but I will try to live up to his spirit, and I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, you have to start calling people. What is it? if I could just finish, you have to adapt that particular phrase. It's very versatile. You can use it in multiple instances.
If I could just finish. Oh shit, he does say that all the time.
And then you also have to say, I think dumb fuck. Like he says it very calmly, but he like will surgically deploy it. I think was it Hutch? Hutch described a convoy at one point, and I'm gonna fuck it up. You either called him like a silent killer or an assassin or something like that in a debate. So
Convoy, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he goes 0 to 100 real quick.
Who's the baby-faced assassin? Is that Curry? You know what I'm talking about?
If I shave, you'll see my baby
Steph Curry?
face. So.
Baby-faced assassin. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that was it. Just saying, like you have to adopt some of the Econoboy mannerisms. You don't have to do the.
I'll just try to. I'll read a Substack.
You don't have to do the
I'll have
shade
like 30% of his economy knowledge. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Like I'm slowly being indoctrinated by him and non-fon, like just feeding me econa facts on through the internet. So
they occupy like very different, I think, economic theories and economic like worldviews. So like you're going to be like pulled between both of them there. So, but yeah, this was fun.
Do you have a switch within your grasp? If you wanted to, in the next 20 seconds, could you produce a switch in front of the camera?
Yes, I could be very
A switch? What?
I can get him to do anything. Look at this.
What the fuck is a switch? Nintendo Switch?
You don't know what a switch is?
Nintendo Switch, the game, right?
I can't believe we just did this. Wow!
Switch 2 even.
In 15
My
seconds.
life is like a video game, as they say.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to see if you could do that, but great job.
Is that like a reference to the thing? Is he like a Switch guy?
I saw Mario, and I wanted to see if he were able to do a challenge and just produce a Switch within 20 seconds, and he did it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, this was fun.
My wife's boyfriend bought it for me.
Well, we do have to, obviously, as time goes on, given that we all reference our significant others and anything, if you're single, you're going to have to get one. That way there's total symmetry in the group. Okay, well, it doesn't have to go through our approval. You just need to find a partner so we can refer to your better half or significant other, something to think about. So that's your next assignment. But no, man, listen, in all seriousness, we appreciate you stepping up and doing this. And that's all I've got. So anybody else have anything? Hutch, Econoboy, or Hutch, Pisco.
No.
Do you guys have anything like in the pike as far as debates or
in the pike? Yeah. I have something. I have a spirit in the pike. The pipe.
Did I say pipe? There you go, pipe.
No. I have a debate tomorrow with Ryan Mullally at 8:30 Eastern.
You sleep through it?
Shut up. At 8:30 Eastern about the Trump immunity decision. You all should watch it.
Yeah.
What time is it again?
8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. You leave your VODs up, right? On the YouTube? YouTube? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just go to the VOD playlist. Sometimes we unlist them, but they're always on the playlist.
Hutch, what about you?
Oh, okay.
Sunday through Friday. 9:30 a.m. Took the day off today. Just did the pod today, but tomorrow we'll be starting at 9:30.
You have no like specific marquee events coming up?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No.
Okay. All right. Soy pill.
Yeah, my plug is my workout video is coming up very soon, and in fact, now that I'm a co-host, I'm going to make it my mission to make at least one of you as swole as me, if not swoller. I know Hutch said he was, but he hasn't proven it yet. So till then, I can only assume it's not true. But I'm also debating one of the Jubilee fascists on the 28th, but we'll have another.
Nice. Wait, when you say the fascists, is that one of the ones that sparred
the Mehdi Hassan people? Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, people, we're done. We'll see you next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Please be sure to go to our constituent channels, like and subscribe. And thanks for joining. We'll see you soon.
Stay cool, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.